Let us get started. Very excited to have you guys on. We're kind of host this event for everyone here. We're super excited to have the bankers on the call, all the attendees in the audience. Hopefully it's a very valuable session for everyone who's in the session. All right, guys. So we'll do a quick intro of the session. And for anyone that's new to the platform, I'll give you sort of an intro on Elevate, and then we'll get going. So Elevate was established last year. A lot of our student leaders here have been very kind of instrumental in sort of supporting the program. We're sort of what we've built here now is one of the more powerful networks for finance and investing careers. It's sort of how we're envisioning it as a one-stop platform for networking, recruiting, training, and advice, basically, all powered by professionals. And so what that relates to, I'll give you anyone who I haven't met on campus this fall. I'm Kaushik. Over the past few years in private equity, majority of my time at Goldman Sachs in investment banking, then private equity. Very fortunate to have a ton of great deal experiences over my career, including lead associate on a lot of the G Capital transactions. So, super formative for me. And then also at GS, a number of leadership roles. So I think leadership development and people development always been very interesting to me. I'll mention this again. Anyone who's not already doing it, a lot of you guys are, just follow us, support us on Instagram, your YouTube, etc., and check out the website, which has a lot of great stuff. As I mentioned, to give you guys an overview, we've been able to partner with professionals from basically the top firms. So effectively think of it as a career platform for whether you're an undergrad, whether you're sort of a young professional or sort of in an MBA, across the board, sort of top 50 firms, professionals from them, and kind of have them talk about their own journey and advice and resources and things like that. On the other side, we're partnered with 30 of the top undergrad universities, all the top 10 MBA programs, as well as sort of 70-ish of the finance and investing groups at all these universities and MBA programs. So we're super proud of that over the last year. Obviously, a lot of our audience is from that audience. I'll hit on 3 initiatives. So I mentioned networking. We just launched Finect Networking. A lot of you guys are part of that, especially in the undergrad level. We've got close to 350 members now across. You'll see on the left, the different groups, pretty diverse across our 15, 20 undergrad groups, as well as the firms on the other side. So it's an opportunity to basically meet your peers who are going into all these different firms, or summer analysts, or full-time analysts, or even underclassmen who are interested in all these careers. So I encourage you guys to check it out. As I showed, the member growth here over the last 5 weeks has been phenomenal to just kind of see all these people participate. And then we also hit on the feedback a little bit. It's been really great to see that. And our algorithm matches you up based on interest. So if you have sort of similar career interests or similar firm, we try to pair you up for one-on-one networking meetings every week or every bi-weekly. So that's the Finect platform. Super excited to launch this first real time here. This December, we're launching the advice database. Basically, all the advice from over 300 videos from all these different professionals that we have, we basically collated them and made them into little snippets across topics like recruiting, industry, company information, why my company, succeeding on the job, etc. So it's really a platform for students and candidates for any career, whether it's PE, whether it's banking, VC, hedge funds, consulting, whatever it is, to go and access what other successful professionals who are 3 to 5 years ahead of you have to say about these topics. So, our team's done a great job of organizing them all. I think so. We're very excited, and we'll send a follow-up email with all these links. But definitely check this out on the website. The training, obviously, a lot of our folks have been through this program, but it's the only training in the world which is 100% taught by professionals. So we've partnered up with bankers, private equity professionals, venture capital professionals, senior level people to sort of do the training. We're doing a special December promo, so we're going to send that out to you guys. I think it's really something we've tried to make accessible to as many students as possible to learn, about these careers. And then, like I mentioned, we'll share some of these links. I really want you guys to, support the program and sort of, I think, be a part of this network now. So let's get to today. So we're super excited to have on all our speakers. To give you a profile of the audience, we have we've got 250-ish members who roughly who will be on the call from 20 plus universities. Kind of the class profile here. We'll present to you guys, and then these are the universities that are presented here. And then let's spend a minute. I want to turn it over to our speakers and give them an opportunity to do quick intros. Let's turn it over to our speakers. Julia Weidman, do you want to start? You'll do an intro, firm, what group, what school you were in, leadership, and any advice actually that you have for the kind of the audience here.
Hi everyone, I'm Julia Weidman. I'm currently at Lazard in the healthcare investment banking group. I was formerly a student at Duke, graduated in 2020, and was very involved in Duke's investment club. A piece of advice, I guess. I would say just confidence and attitude are really what you can control off the bat. So a lot of these positions, maybe when you're recruiting, you don't feel prepared, but nobody expects you to be prepared in school. So it's something where you really learn on the job, but being like a very positive, confident person will allow people to have faith in you. And then you'll be able to learn and succeed along the way.
Great advice. Thank you, Julia. Awesome. We'll go to Angela next.
Hi, everyone. I'm Angela. I'm currently an analyst in Barclays in the communications and media coverage group. I also graduated from Duke. Back in school, I was heavily involved with Duke Business-Oriented Women, and I was president my senior year. One piece of advice would be to really focus on yourself. Everyone has their own opinions about what's the best group, what's the best bank out there, but I feel like for you, you really need to figure that out yourself. What culture fits you best? What are you interested in, instead of listening to what is most prestigious or what other people are telling you to do.
I appreciate that. Awesome. Joanna, you're next.
Hey everyone, I'm Joanna. I'm currently a second-year analyst in the real estate group at Morgan Stanley. And before that, I graduated from Northwestern in 2019, where I was an economics and political science major. During my time at Northwestern, I was really involved with the investment management group, investment banking club, as well as the business track called DSP. So a piece of advice I'll give you is that definitely try to maintain a genuine connection with everyone that you've worked with, that you've interned with, because your peers are going to places and, you know, they often are going somewhere where you might be interested in. So definitely keep in touch and get to know them.
Amazing. Thank you. Afif, you're next.
Hey everyone, my name is Afif. I'm at Credit Suisse in the technology group. I'm from a school in Canada called Western Ivey. One piece of advice I would give to everyone is to be genuinely curious about everything that comes your way, and try to think critically about everything in terms of, you know, reading the news, staying educated, so that when you speak to someone, you have a thoughtful discussion with them.
That's great advice. We'll go to Saahil next.
Hi everyone, my name is Saahil. I graduated from Princeton this past spring. I'm a first-year analyst in the consumer retail group at Goldman Sachs. And I'd say one piece of advice I have is, especially when you're starting, whether it's the internship or, you know, full-time, definitely form relationships with your peers in your class. I think oftentimes you'll be thrown into a lot of different situations where you don't know how to find certain numbers or do certain things that you've been asked to do, and leaning on your peers and kind of having this we're all in this together mentality, I think makes the experience a lot more enjoyable, and you can learn a lot from each other. So definitely leverage your peers and form good relationships there.
Great advice, Saahil. So let's go to Jeevan. You're next.
Hey guys, my name is Jeevan. I am a second-year analyst in Goldman Fig. Prior to that, I studied at Brown. I studied economics. Outside of the classroom, I was involved in Brown Finance Club as well as Brown Club Volleyball. My piece of advice to everybody would be to really focus on learning why you're doing certain things. It's going to make your job much easier way down the line rather than just going through the motions. So I would really focus on learning about the bigger picture and why.
That's really good advice. I second that a lot. I think what differentiates really great analysts from, you know, good analysts from great analysts is really asking why and sort of, you know, that's going to stay throughout your career. So awesome. All right, Aaron from Credit Suisse.
Hey everyone, I'm Aaron. I'm a first-year banking analyst at Credit Suisse's healthcare team out here in San Francisco. Graduated from UChicago earlier this spring. Had a nice virtual graduation. I think if I were to give one piece of advice, it would just be to make sure you have mentors and kind of keep them very close. I think in finance, people say, you know, the best time to finance is when you don't need to finance, right? And I think similarly, when you think about networking and kind of building a network, you know, the worst time to kind of meet someone is when you need a job, right? So if you're able to meet them in a more organic setting and kind of build genuine relationships, by the time you actually need help getting a job, they're happy to help you out. So that's probably my one piece of advice.
Amazing. Thank you, Aaron. That's really helpful. All right, Nick, you're up. Nick Barry.
Hey guys, I'm Nick. I'm a first-year analyst at Barclays in the industrials group. I graduated last spring from Harvard with a degree in economics, and at Harvard, I was also the president of the Harvard Investment Association. So for my advice, whether you're maybe even a fellow first-year analyst, not going to give advice to second-year analysts, or especially if you're recruiting, is to not be afraid to make mistakes, not be afraid to fail, and to not view everything in such discrete steps. I think I definitely fell into the trap while recruiting of placing too much importance on one networking call or, on one, say, model. Even when I got to the desk, I think that everything that we do is a learning experience, and a lot of what this job is, to be frank, is getting the mistakes out of the way early so that you can learn, understand how things work really, and improve the next time. So keeping perspective on everything is very cliche, but I think, it's important to take a step back sometimes.
Excellent. Thank you, Nick. Bishoy.
Hey, everybody. My name is Bishoy. I graduated from Yale. For some context, because I'm sure a lot of the college students here are in the same boat, I didn't do any finance at Yale. So none of my organizations were finance related. I spent a lot of time with the Yale Volunteer Income Tax Association program, which is just a community service program at Yale. Now I'm a first-year analyst at Morgan Stanley in the global services group, so covering business and professional services, financial technology, and payments companies. My one piece of advice, if I was a senior, I feel like everyone took a lot of the really good ones. So I'm going to reiterate one that I totally agree with. It's make sure when you're going through the process to think about yourself. And by that, I mean, think about what interests you, think about what industries you like. I think a lot of times as a college senior, it's really easy to fall into what I call the WSO trap of going on blogs and just letting them decide what you want to do next. And I think that's a really bad idea, because half the time, those people aren't even in banking. And so I think about what you want and kind of what interests you. And I think a lot of people said this, but just make sure that you're doing what you want to do at the end of the day, I think is my piece of advice.
Great advice. I'll addendum to that it's your first job. You have a 40-year career. So sort of think of each of these as distinct points where you're learning more about yourself more than anything. So I think that's just to add on to what Bishoy said. I think it's amazing. All right, Houston, you're up.
Hi, everybody. My name is Houston. I graduated from Yale in May. I'm a first-year analyst with LionTree. And at Yale, I was involved in the student investment group where I met Kaushik and worked a lot with Elevate. And, it's been a great experience. I guess my piece of advice would be one that I got from a lot of my mentors, which is to push yourself as much as you can out of college. There's going to be a lot of opportunities to learn and try to figure out what you like to do most and what actually interests you the most. So, make sure to take advantage of those opportunities, learn from kind of your peers, especially people above you, and stay in touch with them.
Thank you. That's really good advice. Keith?
Hey everyone, my name is Keith. So I'm a second year at Stifel in the Transportation and Logistics group. I graduated from the University of Maryland in May of 2019. And, at Maryland, I was in a couple of different clubs, but one of them was the Smith Finance Group, which I was the president and co-founder of. And then also a business fraternity called AK Psi, which I was heavily involved in, and then a couple of other clubs and organizations. My main piece of advice I'm just going to keep it short and punchy for you guys. Just do your best. And so I think that it's easy kind of to get certain tasks, or maybe you've been working for a while, and it's easy to kind of let things slip a bit. But my advice to you would be always do the best that you possibly can and go that extra mile. And that kind of goes along with pushing yourself.
Great, thank you, Keith. Great advice. Paul, you're next.
Hi, everyone. I'm Paul Lay. Very excited to be here. By way of background, I work in investment banking at Goldman Sachs in the Financial Institutions Group, which is the same group that Kaushik was in back in the day, and the same group as Jeevan. I graduated in 2019 from Harvard, where I studied statistics. And like many of you, I was very involved in student organizations. I was the chairman of the Harvard Investment Association and engaged in numerous other groups. And I guess one piece of advice would be, well, before you start a new role, whether it's an internship or full-time, to really understand why you're doing it. So I would advise concretely writing down, what do you hope to learn? What skills do you wish to acquire? What type of relationships do you want to develop? And that will inform your actions to keep you grounded and ultimately help you make the most out of your experience.
Awesome. Great advice. Akil?
Cool. Hi, everyone. I'm Akil Madan, and I'm currently a first-year analyst working at B of A in their technology group in Palo Alto. I'm from New York and graduated from Northwestern this past spring with degrees in economics and French. And my one piece of advice is to really explore as many professional opportunities as you can while you're still in college. So instead of doing 3 internships in one industry, try to do 1 internship in 3 industries, so you really get a sense of what's out there and what opportunities really fit your skills and interests.
That's great advice. Great time to sort of experiment and figure out what you like and what you probably, even more importantly, don't like. So I like that advice, Akil. All right, Amol, you're next.
Thanks, Kaushik. Hi, everyone. My name is Amol. I just graduated this year from Rutgers with degrees in industrial engineering and economics. I'm a first-year analyst at Credit Suisse in the financial sponsors group. Back in school, I was involved with lots of different organizations, including the investment banking group on campus, and was assistant director of the Road to Wall Street program at Rutgers. So I think, there's been a lot of really good advice, but one thing that I would say that kind of reiterates a lot of the themes across the board is don't be afraid of learning for the sake of learning, right? Read books that are related to investing, finance, industries that you're interested in, or, stories of business leaders that might interest you, even if it's not directly related to your upcoming role, or even if it's not directly related to your upcoming interviews. I definitely recommend you kind of spend that time learning, and a great resource for learning is the Elevate platform. So definitely be sure to do some of those masterclass trainings.
Thank you, guys. Well, thank you. Okay, so we got Kriti, you're next, and then we'll have Maria.
Hey everyone, my name's Kriti. I graduated from Harvard in the spring. I work in the JPM healthcare IBD team out here in SF. At Harvard, I was one of the co-presidents of Black Diamond, which is a student-run hedge fund. I would say I think everyone has covered really good pieces of advice. The only thing I would probably add is recruiting is it's a highly personalized process. And I think, kind of echoing what Angela said, people optimize for prestige over fit, but fundamentally banking is all about the people, and how well you do in your group and whether you get a return offer often depends on the fit. So when you're recruiting for your summer, just think about that, because you might go to a team that in name looks a lot better, but that you fit not as well with for whatever reason, and that is something worth thinking about for later.
That is great advice, Kriti. I couldn't agree more. I think it's important early on, but it becomes more important over your career as well, especially kind of when whether you're saying banking or go to a fund, on the buy side, even more and more important. Awesome, thank you for that. And then lastly, but not least, Maria from Wharton and Morgan Stanley.
Hey guys, I'm happy to be here today. I'm Maria. I am a first-year analyst at Morgan Stanley. I did my summer in the media and communications group, and I am now in the global industrials group full-time. I just graduated virtually in May from the University of Pennsylvania in the Huntsman program. So I studied finance in Wharton and international studies in our liberal arts college. And I was really active in student government. My one piece of advice, I definitely echo everything everyone said. So we definitely keep that in mind as you're going through this process. Kind of piggybacking on what Nick said, I think you're going to make mistakes. I think things will happen. So I think one thing is to just keep a positive attitude. And personally, for you guys as students, I would just say relax. I think a lot of times it can be stressful, especially with school going on right now and an entire pandemic. So I would just say, if you're on this call right now, I'm sure you're already in a really good place. And then secondly, I would say I kind of differ from Amal. I think personally, I studied finance. So like I was always constantly thinking about business. So I would, in addition to reading business books, recommend, like reading random things you're interested in, because even in my interviews, sometimes, I'll get on a topic with your interviewer and you'll have some interest in common. So I would say, be interesting, calm down and relax. And I think in addition to what everyone else would say, that will make you a very well-rounded and personable candidate to be around.
Excellent. Awesome. Thank you, Maria.